Hello, hello. This is going to be a little bit complicated. This is a mission called Escape Chernarus Ravage. I'm also going to be doing a video about Escape from Chernarus. And there's another one as well that I might do as well. Back in ArmA 2, there was a wonderful mission called Escape Chernarus. And it was very simple. It didn't require any mods. You were a soldier and you were a prisoner somewhere on Chernarus, and you needed to escape your little prison compound, relatively easy, and then evade the army that were trying to hunt you down, go and hack a radio transmitter which was in a heavily guarded base, and there were several of them. It was a choice, and they were randomly spawning too. And that would give you the coordinates of a place from where you would be rescued on the coast. And you then had to fight your way there. Tremendous fun. Still play it with one of my friends. So accordingly, when ArmA 3 came out, people hoped that there would be an Escape Chernarus mission for that. But the original author did not come back and make one. And people have hungered for one, and there's been a few attempts, but nothing quite right. So today, this is Escape Chernarus Ravage by Fraja. Now, it's actually a multiplayer co-op mission where you can have 5 of you. I elected not to be the leader of the group and bossing people around. I elected to be the guy with the map, because there is a purpose to this mission. And if you read through the briefing, you will discover that there is a helicopter here. Yeah, radiation zones and stuff. Ooh, what's the question mark? And I think as it mentions, yeah, there's an abandoned Russian base here where one can stock up. It's clearly Zub Castle. And there is a fuel truck to be had up here, because the helicopter don't have no fuel in it. And should you manage to obtain the fuel truck and bring it down, then you can go away and be saved. So it's a mission with an end. This is my first time playing this. Oh. And I'm going to see how well I do. God, I do like taking grenades. I like impact grenades the best. Now, I do apologise greatly, because I am going to confuse the heck out of people by making... Oh, that's handy. Making more videos about Escape Chernarus missions. Okay, so obviously this is quite a fun one to do with a bunch of mates. Oh, things are loading in still, are they? But I'm going to try and do it on my own. I'm kind of curious as to what that pipe is. Oh. And who TS is. Why he closed it. Oh, I'd also like to say thank you very much to Tom R, who suggested that I should map my enhanced movement key to V, the normal vault, because, yeah, seems so obvious now that he says it, but yeah, I don't need to do the ordinary vault now that I've got that. Smart move. And also, many thanks to Gunter, who runs the Ravage channel, for suggesting, well, in fact not suggesting, telling me how to get down off stuff with enhanced movement.
Enemy spotted. Rifleman. 75 meters.
Well, there's a start. Because I'm not the group commander, I am not able to tell those other tonks to come with me. But I'm actually not a big fan of having the AI accompany me. I did get him, didn't I? So I'll have that just now. Oh, definitely have that. Just bear in mind that this is Ravage, and they get up. I see you. Or do I? Actually, Daisy tactics. Look with your bullets, not with your eyes. I could have walked right up to him going, hey, is that a guy? I'm also not at all sure that I got him. I mean, I definitely hit him once. The second shot was an estimate.
Man, 75 meters. Right. Engaging target.
Well, I'm tying the chatty Betty.
Man, 100 meters. Right.
Never rely on those target markings, by the way. They are not necessarily accurate. That's miles that could come in handy. So I mean, never rely on those red marks.
Engaging.
Engaging who? He's been and gone. I'm very conscious of the fact that I have no cover. Oh. Oh, that's alright then. Hi, how you doing? Oh. I really hope you didn't die too far from the shore. I do have a light. Full to 10. good start. Though I am very conscious of the fact that I am carrying a weapon for which I do not have much in the way of bullets. One nice thing about this is in the lobby, when you're choosing who you're going to be, it tells you what everyone has. So I could have chosen the guy with the Springfield, or I could have chosen the guy with the AKM, etc. But I chose the guy who's got the map. So I figured that's the most important thing. Oh. Oh, can I not access the mouse wheel menu easily? Why not? I'm just going to assume that everyone I can see is an enemy. Uh-oh. You know, unless somebody comes up and offers me a chocolate biscuit, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be killing them. Should have taken a shot at that guy as soon as I could. And I think there's someone else shooting at me. Someone I cannot see. Now, also worth noting is that there was a Ravage update just a couple of hours before I did this. So there may be extra excitement and unanticipated goings on. Oh,
Enemy spotted. Soldiers, 400 meters, bearing 285.
it's not even them. This gun's ranged quite far. Ah, nuts. I'm quite content for them to fight each other. Uh-oh. Can I throw a grenade that far? Probably not. No, definitely not. Yeah, I got it. He just went down. That's him shooting at me. I hear someone else too. What's a day? I think I just glimpsed. Yep. Let's continue on our slow and steady progress. There seem to be some explosions. Sound, well, maybe not explosions, but something with which I'm not familiar. So everyone wants that helicopter, eh? Oh, first sign of a zombie.
Man, half a click west. There's an enemy. Walker, half a click west.
Yep, there are a bunch of them.
Walker, half a click west. Rifle, half a click west.
Sound
Man,
awfully
half
like a
click
shotgun.
west. Soldier, half a click west.
Let's select that. Really don't like that. It's a bad gun.
Walker, half a click, bearing 285.
So I hear. Okay, correct the map. There's stuff, but you know. So the helicopter's right down at the waterfront. No, I don't want to do that, thank you. Not yet. Not hearing any shooting anymore. Beg your pardon. You know what? I think I'm far enough away. You get on about it with the zombies, eh? That's chickens. Of course, those white hexagons are my friends I'm leaving behind. Do I have a radio? Oh. Oh yes, this uses task force radio. Which obviously I will not find at all necessary, but if you're playing this in a group and you're used to playing ArmA in a serious way, then you may well appreciate the task force radio support. Yeah, that's not a fuel truck. It's just decoration. There's a zombie under the water.
Welcome, 800 meters west.
Yeah, take your word for it. Okay. One Russian helicopter. Ooh. It's in good condition. Right. Well. I guess I'm going to go and find out what that question mark is. Conscious that I do not have a lot of bullets. I do not want to fight zombies. Woohoo. Actually, whilst I'm here, right, I was going to sing, crouch down near the edge. Ah, enhanced movement will get you off. That is cool. See, I've been used to just jumping off of things. Can't actually shoulder my gun. Oh, maybe I need an actual holster. No. Now, carrying that Aper's bounding mine is definitely slowing me down. Anything explosive is heavy. But I greatly enjoy them. I'm going to keep this one with me. What time is it? 5 o'clock, probably in the morning, actually. Yeah, it seems to be getting lighter rather than darker, doesn't it? Need to manage my fatigue. Let's try walking for a bit. Let's Control C. One of the more unusual controls in ArmA. I used to use it when I was playing with serious ArmA groups, you know, doing milsim stuff. Righty. Well, again, this probably isn't the most fascinating occurrence. Yeah, want to watch me walk through some misty woods for a kilometre? Good. 'Cause that's what's going to happen. I met a friend earlier today in the supermarket, and he was buying an absolute ton of flowers. I said, "Oh, do you get caught having an affair?" Because I'm witty that way. And he was saying, no. He said, "It's my girlfriend's birthday tomorrow." He said, "I have no idea what to get her, so I thought I'd start with some flowers." I said, "Yeah, well, seems reasonable." I said, you know, so it struck me as somewhat amusing that, oh heck.
Contact. Walker. 1 click. Bearing 330.
Cool. Uh-oh.
Enemy spotted. Walker. 1 click. Northwest.
Also rapid. Come at me in a straight line, bro. Yeah, so he's buying a ton of flowers. I'm seeing, you know, chaps buy flowers for ladies, but it so rarely happens the other way around. I said, however, I did once have a girlfriend buy me flowers. And, you know, unexpectedly. I just suddenly arrived one day and I thought, oh, that was rather nice. A nice big bunch of flowers, which I broke up into sort of a couple of arrangements that I placed in vases around my house. Very cool. I said, oh, says my friend, yeah, I had a girlfriend who used to buy me flowers. I was like, really? He said, oh yeah. She'd buy me like a single red rose. I was like, oh, now that is weird. I said, yeah, never knew what to make of it. He said, didn't tell my friends. I was like, yeah, blooming right, I wouldn't. I said, strange thing was, when I bought her flowers, she always used to complain and say, what are you feeling guilty about? Because I mentioned this to my wife, and her instant response was, well, there's a language of flowers. I say, yeah, for you Orientals, yeah, definitely. And actually, here among certain circles in certain times, I mean, certainly in the Victorian era, it was quite common to communicate intentions through flowers. I mean, you know, it's probably a middle and upper class kind of thing rather than a working class thing. I don't know. I don't have any experience with the working classes. Certainly don't know anything about them back then. Because I'm a bit thick that way. But yeah, you know, there's a certain language to flowers. I think in many cultures we consider, say, lilies to be associated with death. White lilies, anyway. There's all kinds of associations with flowers. Couldn't tell you what they are. Yes, I suppose I know of a few if I really had to. But oh my goodness me, you must, under no circumstances must anyone ever buy my wife flowers. That's a serious no-no. She was a florist when she first came to the UK. She needed a job that didn't involve speaking a lot of English, because she was here to improve her English, and that she could easily do. And flowers are a much bigger deal among the Orientals than they are here in the West. So she looked around a few flower shops and went, "Yep, I reckon I could do that." And you know, back home, she's certainly not regarded as a great florist or anything. But yeah, around here, ooh. Although, question mark. Oh. Ah. Oh. Thank you, ArmA. Yeah, you buy flowers for my wife, they had better be uncut. And just a simple selection that she can arrange. And yeah, she'll do something very nice with it. But buy her a bunch of flowers and say, "Oh great, you bought her a bunch of dying flowers in a poorly chosen arrangement."
1.5 clicks due north.
For Rick. Yeah.
Walker, 1.5 clicks north.
Oh, at least they're going down fairly easily. Not really too fussed about the walking ones,
Walker,
just the running
1.5
ones.
clicks north. I've got a visual. Walker, 1.5 clicks due north.
See, don't rely on those red markers. You can easily miss
Walker,
crouched running
1.5
one like
clicks
that.
north.
1.5 clicks, that seems very inaccurate, doesn't it?
Contact. Walker, 1.5 clicks due north. I've got a visual. Walker, 1.5 clicks due north. Walker, 1.5 clicks north.
Uh-oh.
Walker, 1.5 clicks north.
Uh-oh. 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 Better reload. I'm gonna have to turn and shoot. Run, you fool. Oh, I got hit. That was bad.
Danger!
No kidding. Oh. Oh dear. Right, you know what? I'm definitely having another go. I thought maybe this time I would be the team leader and command the AI, but I suspect that's a bit of a pipe dream. I doubt there's any way that I can command the AI to cross these kind of bridges. Actually, this time, well, I suppose my priority is like a vehicle. I guess I'm going to go to Komarovo, then Bolota, and head for the abandoned Russian base if I haven't found anything. Desperately want a vehicle. I've also got to plan out a radio show for this week, actually. By the way, oh frick, what a
Walker,
start.
300 meters, bearing 105.
Aha. Didn't want to do that this early on. Yeah, it's funny, when I do my own radio shows, I don't tend to plan anything. When I do other people's radio shows, ooh, really make an effort. It's their show, you know, I've no right to mess it up or be half-hearted about it. If I'm not prepared to do it properly, then I should tell them to get someone else. But I like to have some basis to my radio shows. You might notice on my channel there are certain Japanese folk tales. These are things that I do for the radio. And I'm kind of running out of the fairly well translated, short enough stories that I've got. I mean, there are plenty of Japanese folktales I could cover. See, calling them folktales isn't. Let's say legends. But yeah, I'm running out of the easy ones. I've got plenty recorded already. Sometimes record them in advance, sometimes do them on the show. Recording them in advance is better quality. Try reading a story for half an hour without pausing, hesitating, mispronouncing a word, misreading a word, stumbling over anything. That's really hard. It is not looking like this town is going to provide me with a vehicle. I'm concerned that I may have to shoot a zombie or, well, a few zombies. I really don't want to. I don't see any vehicles at all so far. Oh. I sincerely doubt I'll find anything of any use in these places, but worth a look. Wow, time is moving very slowly. It's quite interesting, most people like to accelerate time. But I guess I'm supposed to stay in this sort of twilight. Which is quite an interesting tactic. Well done, Fraja. I may be mispronouncing his name. I think it's more likely to be Fraha. And I was surprised to see that he points out in the description this is actually his first ever mission. I'm always keen to give support to, well, any mission creator, because they all work hard at these things. But I'm especially interested in people's sort of first attempts. Because they will often do things that, in that first attempt, that they will never try again, because they realise that it's too much hassle, or it ended up being an awful lot of work for nothing. Or at least an awful lot of work for what turned out to be quite a minor feature. Yeah, wrecked cars I can find a ton of. Now, it's not like if I make a video of a mission that suddenly hundreds of people will play it. I'm just not that popular a channel. Nor will I ever be. But if this inspires a few more people to try it, then great. Strangely, I know some of you watch this because you just like my voice, which I find weird. My goodness me, everyone says when they hear recordings of themselves that they don't like the way they speak, or, ooh, I don't really sound like that, do I? You know, I'm relatively...
Walker, 1 click, east. Contact. Walker, 1 click, bearing 060. Walker, 1 click, bearing 065.
Oh my goodness, that went badly.
Walker, 1 click, east.
How quickly everything can go wrong.
There's an enemy. Walker, 1 click,
Couple
east.
more runners. You gotta be careful on rooftops like these. Oh, out of bullets. Oh, didn't want to do that. It's a much noisier gun. Please.
I've got a visual. Walker, 1 click, east.
Oh no. Oh no 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 no.
Walker, 1 click, east. I've got a visual. Walker, 1 click, east.
Right, okay, at least I'm safe up here.
Contact. Walker, 1 click, east.
Yeah, on that low roof they can probably still hit me. Oh, Common always been a bust.
Walker, 1 click, east.
All I've succeeded in doing around here is emptying my pistol and finding nothing.
Walker, 1 click, east.
Zombies tend to like flares. Run away!
Enemy spotted. Walker, 1 click, bearing 075.
Those are not
I've got a
fast
visual.
ones.
Walker, 1 click, east. Walker, 1 click,
One of them is.
Walker, 1 click, east.
Two of them are.
Walker, 1 click, bearing 075.
I'm gonna have to shoot. Ah. Yeah, I see him.
I've got a visual. Walker, 1.5 clicks, east.
This isn't high enough. Whew. Thankfully this is. Yeah, see why those red dots are useless? Oh, chuff. Right. Everyone, go over there. I do not want to shoot. Alright, get the chuff away from here as quickly as possible. I'm all out of flares. See, flares can be quite handy. Right, phew. Oh, haven't been hurt. So, onwards to Balota. Well, I guess we're going to remain in this twilight. Yeah, I was talking about voices and accents. I'm happy with the way I speak. I would prefer... Oh, yeah, I won't say no. I would prefer if my voice sounded a little differently, but I'm also not prepared to put in the time and effort to change that. I think, yeah, I have just enough of an accent to sound interesting. Of course, for American viewers, as far as you can, of course you got an accent. Not compared to the people back in my hometown, I can tell you. See, I like the Viper. For those of you who have heard Scottish accents before, but not often enough to actually be properly familiar with them, you know a Scottish accent when you hear one. I can tell you the Scottish accents vary considerably. And I can usually tell from the first few words that a Scots person says whereabouts in Scotland they're from. Usually in about, well, within 5 words, I would say. Oh, Say no. See, did I get that can opener? No, I did not. No, I did. Yes. No, these vehicles are proving to have reasonable amounts of loot.
Man, 2 clicks, east.
These distances seem wrong, don't they? Ooh. That's a zombie. Why was it running? Oh, it's not a zombie. It has a light. I like when they have lights. That's no good, I've lost him.
Walker, 1 click, bearing 075.
As I frequently say with my accent, I have just enough of an accent to be interesting. And most Scottish people that attempt to guess where I'm from get it wrong. They tend to think Edinburgh. But even within Edinburgh, there can be a bit of a range of accents. Sean Connery used to be, was he a milkman in Edinburgh? I think he worked in Morningside. Morningside's actually considered relatively well-to-do these days. Or at least the last time I spent any time there. Oh, we're gonna have you. Oh no. Oh no, ArmA. Don't do that. I think the zombies will probably do for him.
East. Enemy spotted. Man, 2 clicks, east.
Yeah, I think he went down. However, with the zombie taking him down, there's a better than fair chance that he'll get up again. Yeah, having trouble climbing off things. Never mind. I never expected to be able to do that, so it's a nice bonus if it works, but I don't miss it if it doesn't. Again, I am not seeing any vehicles around. I'm thinking
Walker, 2 clicks, due east. Walker, 2 clicks, east.
one of those was a runner. Several of them are runners. I think there's not much point in me trying to extricate anything from that body. I'm just going to place a marker on the airfield. So heard some shooting coming from that direction. Ah,
2 clicks east.
got a runner after me. Oh dear. That'll do. Uh-oh. No, it won't. Now I'm quite concerned. If a zombie loses track of you, they will continue to the place where they last saw you. Right, I think I managed to dodge him. I think I need to regain stamina. Right, do notice when you use enhanced movement. Right, look at my stamina now. See, it takes a hit. Enhanced movement is not free. God, that sounds awfully close. I do not want to be shooting any zombies. Oh, I should also say, this accent of mine, it is not my only accent. That might sound a little weird. But I had a friend come to visit a little while ago, and he wanted to buy a mirror whilst he was up here. So we toured round. You know, he was buying it as a wedding gift. He wanted a nice antique mirror, so we went to every antique place around here. Couldn't find one that was suitable. Eventually ended up at quite an unusual place. It was a place that I found through searching information sources, and it turned out that it wasn't a shop. It was actually somebody's home, because all I had for it was a phone number, and I phoned them. They said, "Oh, would you like to make an appointment?" Good Lord, an appointment? Yes, would I like to make an appointment to buy a mirror? But yes, it turned out it was an elderly couple who lived in quite a nice country house. But clearly they were quite poor. Generally, when we talk about country house in the UK, we don't mean just a house that is in the countryside. We mean a large house in the countryside. Anyway, they lived in this nice old house. And you would think it was a very expensive house, and it probably is. Came with a lot of land, I'm sure. But they had very little money. And they were both well-educated, well-bred, sort of upper-class people. The kind of people, actually, that I grew up around a lot of people like that. Not to mention just how frightfully posh I am, of course. And as soon as I started talking to them, I switched into my posher, more formal accent and tone. It wasn't until we got out to the car afterwards that my friend said to me, "What happened to you?" It's like, oh, yes. In actual fact, that's how I speak. That wasn't me putting on anything. Oh, but it's empty. Yeah. So no. I can speak like that all day. I could speak like that for the rest of my life. But yes, sometimes if I am in a certain situation, I do find myself putting on a thicker Scottish accent. Generally when I'm talking to people who have strong Scots accents themselves, and who look like they might be quite tough and possibly slightly violent, especially towards people they perceive as being English. I'm sorry to say that is actually a reality. I remember travelling on a bus one time, and I was in Glasgow. A fellow sat down next to me, and he was clearly fairly drunk. Not that that's necessarily a problem in itself. But he started singing Flower of Scotland. And Flower of Scotland is this song that gets used as Scotland's unofficial national anthem. See, these days I wouldn't be at all surprised if the Scots government hadn't adopted this as its anthem in some way. Yes, it's a song. It was never written as an anthem. It's not nearly as old as people imagine. And there's lots of stuff in it about fighting the English. It has bits about fighting Proud Edward's army and sending him homeward to think again. This guy starts singing this, quite loudly, and he starts elbowing me every time he gets to the chorus. Because actually, if there's one thing, most people don't really know the words to Flower of Scotland. Oh, they know the chorus, and oh, they may know the Proud Edward's Army bit, but actually they don't really know the song very well. Might know the first verse, but this guy, oh no, he's away at it.
Walker, grid 0470224.
Chuff, in trouble. He's going to climb up here. But yeah, this guy's singing Flower of Scotland and he's elbowing me. What's your problem? He goes, you English scum. It's like, oh yes, I see. Don't know when he had a chance to hear me talk, but he had. And because I speak properly and don't have a thick accent, that automatically made me English in his eyes. Personally, I have nothing against England. I like England. I live in England. And I shan't live in Scotland again. And I greatly dislike anti-English sentiment. It's really annoying. You know, I can stand up in any pub in Scotland and shout, you know, I hate the English, and somebody will probably buy me a drink. You know, that's what that's like. That would never happen in England. If I stood up in a pub in England and said, I hate Scotland, I hate the Scots, people would say to me, sit down, what's wrong with you? How can you say such a thing? You know. So yeah, often when around people like that, I may try sounding more Scottish than I normally do, which I suppose is a form of cowardice. But I just cannot be doing with having that fight every time. Okay, this is quite a serious situation we're in here. Yeah, I was going to say there's at least one fast zombie down there. They can't get up here. I really don't want to shoot him. Oh, maybe he can get up here. I don't know. I just have to sit still for a bit and hope that they go away. It seems so. Anyway, if you have an accent, or you find yourself changing your accent, why not leave a comment down below? I hate that kind of YouTube engagement rubbish. People ask you to leave comments or press like or even dislike, doesn't matter which, because that counts as an engagement statistic. And YouTube likes that. The more engagement that a video engenders, the more likely it is to be promoted or show up in the sidebar when you're watching something else. I would never ask you to comment for those reasons. Comment only because you would like to. And yeah, if you do have an accent, or you have something to say about accents, feel free.
Walker, grid 047025.
I do read all the comments that people leave. Well, almost all, sometimes I miss one. And, you know, I do try to reply to every comment that, you know, engenders a response. Or requires one at least. You know, if you ask me a question, I will answer. To the best of my ability. Right, don't want to go to Cherno, that's for damn sure. I think I want to go to the abandoned Russian base. Stop running. I'm curious about accents actually. Because I have to cover quite a lot of foreign languages for my work. And I don't like the question when people ask how many languages do you speak, because I generally don't. For my work, I read other languages. I may not be familiar with that language at all. By which I mean I may not be able to speak it. I may be able to learn how to read it for the purposes of my work.
Walker, grid 049er 028.
Nothing more. Oops.
Walker, grid 049er 028.
Okay, we're not in bad trouble. We're in a fair bit of trouble. Oh, phew. Right, that'll do. How easily that happens. But yeah, you know, I cover lots of different languages. And one of my clients is the European Union. I write reports on the rotating presidency of the Council of the European Union. Every 6 months a new country takes the role. So when it was Bulgaria, I had to learn a good chunk of Bulgarian. Now, luckily, I already can read the Cyrillic alphabet, which is entirely because of DayZ, actually. I wish I could say it was for more intellectual or academic reasons, but it's not. It's because of playing on Chernarus and having to be able to read signs that say CTAPOE and realise that that does not say Kitapo, it says Stroi. Now, reading Cyrillic does not mean that I understand it. It means that I can look at the letters and make the noises, or at least understand what the noises would be. And that's how it goes. So I learned about 500 words of Bulgarian. In Bulgaria they use the Cyrillic alphabet, but only in that it pertains to the European Union. You know, only as it pertained to the issues in the articles I was reading. I couldn't walk into a bar and order a beer or buy a loaf of bread or anything like that. But I could tell you what an integrated fiscal policy is. Bulgarian. So, do I speak Bulgarian? Well, no. And also, I'm only reading it. I don't actually know very well what the language sounds like. Hey. That time, let's try and sneak away.
Walker, grid 049er 028.
Yeah, just as long as it's not my grid.
Walker, grid 048028.
For my work, there are 5 main languages that I cover.
Walker, grid 048029er.
And yeah, again, they're languages that I read. Do I speak them well? Yes, I can speak French. I'm somewhat out of practice. I mean, I can read French very easily, and I can understand it when it's spoken quite well, unless the other person's from Paris, because they speak at a tremendous rate. I may have to say to them, "Parlez plus lentement, s'il vous plaît." Please speak more slowly. It's funny, usually when you say to a French person, "Parlez plus lentement," they will do so for about 3 or 4 words and then go back to full speed. But I cover in total for my work about 20 different languages. In varying degrees, Bulgarian is one of those 20. I haven't needed to use it in about 2 years. And so my vocabulary has probably diminished from its peak. But I've never spoken it aloud. And German's one of my main languages that I cover. And I understand written German pretty well. I learned some German when I was a child. And yeah, I can even tell you about the different forms of German. Which is quite interesting, actually. And accent plays a part in that as well. One thing that you might not know is that in Arnold Schwarzenegger's films, when they release the German language version of it, they still dub him. And it's like, can't Arnold record his own German dubbing? No. Because he sounds like a farmer from a rural part of Austria. Because that is basically what he is. So yes, Arnold Schwarzenegger's German is not deemed suitable for the roles that he plays. Funny, eh? But this is where I get interested in accent. Because I find when speaking foreign languages, it's very important to get the accent. And I don't mean having a strong accent, or necessarily even a massively accurate one, but to have an accent that allows you to pronounce the words. I can't imagine speaking French without using a French accent. And, I use a mild one. So, when I say fast talking Parisian, parlez plus lentement s'il vous plaît. Je suis écossais, je parle un petit peu de français, un très petit peu. I'm saying that with a mild French accent. I can't say it in a straight British accent, it just doesn't sound right. And I find that when learning a language, it's important to have an ear for the accent, to be able to hear it and distinguish the accent from the words. And in the languages that I don't do properly, I can't do that. In fact, I've been covering Polish for work quite a lot recently, And I know
Walker, grid 052.
I have some terrible habits.
Walker, grid 052.
Us spawning under the power lines. Now they're chasing me. Oh, and there's nowhere to hide. Oh, nuts. I've got to get some distance in before I can shoot this guy. Just the one guy. Oh, nuts.
Walker, grid 051.
That's two of them.
038.
Oh dear.
Walker, grid 051. 038.
Need to get away.
Walker, grid 050. 039er.
Rocks are often good.
Walker, grid 050. 038. Walker, grid 051. 038.
I could see more runners over there. I'm very keen to get away from them. Yes, I've never really listened to Polish being spoken. I think I've probably only watched a couple of Polish language films, but I haven't paid any attention to the sound of spoken Polish. And so I have no idea how the words are pronounced. And all the Polish that I have learned over the last year or so, yeah, it's been about a year and a half I've been doing work in Polish. I don't know how to pronounce the words I've learned. I've just learned them as written words. And I know that in my head, you know, when I read these things, they kind of make a sound in my head that I'm pronouncing them incorrectly. I say pronouncing them, you know, in my head the sound of them is wrong. And I desperately need to spend maybe an afternoon with some Polish people just to hear them speak, so that I can correct these bad habits before they become too ingrained, or I shall never be able to speak Polish. I would have to totally deprogram myself, forget all my Polish in order to learn it anew, learn it properly. As it recently I met some German tourists. Actually, I was talking to somebody the other night and they cleared this up for me. I met some German tourists and they didn't speak English. Now, I often encounter tourists here. There's a large colourful map on the street just outside my house. And I'll often find people standing there trying to make sense of it. And I'll always stop and try and talk to them, try and help them out. And I can direct people to the local castle and goodness knows how many languages now. But yeah, I found a couple of Germans and I was speaking to them. I realised, you know, they didn't speak any English. And when I attempted to speak to them in German, I realised it was pretty much the first time I'd ever spoken German aloud. We communicated just fine, but I was also surprised because I've never met a German who doesn't speak English. I was at a party the other night, and I met a chap there who taught German for many years at university. And he was a very interesting fellow, and he suggested to me that actually these fellows were probably from East Germany. It's like, oh yes, of course. I completely forget that East Germans exist. Of course, East Germans tend to learn Russian as a language. It's like, right, yes, of course. Russian's their second language, not English. Or at least people of a certain age. I'm sure there are far more English speakers in East Germany these days. It's like, yeah. And no wonder their German sounded a little odd to me. I assumed that it was me. That I'd learned German incorrectly, or I'd learned a form of German that wasn't really used these days. But no. It was very much down to they were probably East German. So they speak a different dialect to German. They speak with a different accent. That was quite fascinating when I realised. I'm quite annoyed that it's taken me quite a long time to pick up on Chinese accents. I don't mean the lazy, yeah, me Chinesey, kind of cartoon accents that people do. I mean regional accents from China, because initially when I heard people speaking Mandarin, they all sounded like they were speaking the same. Because I had no point of reference and I didn't know what Chinese accents actually were. Whereas these days I can generally tell when someone is from Beijing. A lot of sounds. And my uncle, he grew up, well, I say he grew up, he spent part of his childhood in Shanghai. And he's old enough that it's not a good time to be British in Shanghai. Not when Japan turned up. But he speaks Shanghai Mandarin, Shanghai Hua, which is a dialect, and it is very different from Beijing Mandarin. It has a different accent, but the way they pronounce words is different. Even some of the most basic things that I think everyone probably knows ni hao these days. Ni hao. They don't pronounce it like that in Shanghai. I have to keep my wife away from my uncle because he would be keen to try and speak Mandarin to her. And, badly remembered Shanghai dialect of Mandarin from 70 odd years ago. That's not going to fly. She's not going to enjoy that experience. So let's just go straight there. But it was only when I saw a Chinese film called, in English, Going Home. And it is one of my favourite films of all time. It's an absolutely beautiful film and very funny. Although I will quite enjoy the arty end of Chinese films. I actually prefer the more down-to-earth ones. Like, if you've seen Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, realise that that is a film that is primarily for a Western audience. You know, my wife hates that and anything like it.
Walker, grid 057048.
Because it's from a sort of genre called wuxia. If people wave around swords a lot and fly, it's probably a wuxia film. And wuxia is its own entire literary genre, to the point where there are actually sub-genres like xinxia. Anyway, it has some fairly clearly defined characteristics, and wuxia books are all kind of set in the same universe. It's not set in real China, but it is set in a consistent alternative version of China in a fairly consistent time period as well. And Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, yeah, it's very fancy, it's very slickly done, there's lots of really good wire work and everything in it. And if you've never seen a wuxia film before, I'm sure it's amazing. But if you have, it's not really anything special. In fact, it's quite soulless as wuxia films go. You know, more style than substance. You know, likewise, Quentin Tarantino's film Kill Bill. If you're not familiar with Hong Kong and Chinese cinema, then I'm sure it's terribly entertaining. But I couldn't stand it. I couldn't get more than 5 minutes into it. It's just, ugh. I've seen far too many of the films that he is, well, as he would say, paying homage to, but ripping off. It's not very well done, and at least in the old Hong Kong and Chinese films that he is aping, the actors in it had genuine kung fu skills. You know, they could actually do martial arts. Whereas Uma Thurman, I've met Uma Thurman. I'm pretty sure if I punched Uma Thurman in the face, she ain't getting up. You know, and I'm not some big tough guy. So I found her alleged martial arts prowess when she doesn't have a muscle on her body just so unbelievable that it ruins it. You know, whereas, you know, you watch one of the old Chinese martial arts films, yeah, these people can do what they do. You know, they're not relying on stunt doubles or CGI or very well trained stuntmen to make their, you know, pulled blows look good. I don't get me wrong, there's plenty of those old Chinese and Hong Kong martial arts films are terrible, especially the story, often dreadful. But anyway, my point is that I don't like these big slick films, and I actually prefer Chinese films that are made for Chinese people, especially those aimed at sort of ordinary Chinese people, but there's perhaps a certain cleverness to them. So this film, Going Home, I absolutely love it. It's a very simple story. It's about a guy. Well, most films are. No, it's about a chap who is working away from home. It's a common thing in China. All over the place there's people working far from their hometowns. And he's working with a friend. They're both from the same hometown. And the friend dies. Now for the Chinese, it's very important that you return to your hometown to be buried. In actual fact, this is where the concept of vampires in China comes from. If you're not buried in your hometown, you will be a restless spirit. Back in the olden days, in order for your body to be taken back to your hometown, it was commonplace to pay priests or monks to take the body back. And what they would do is string the body on a bamboo pole. But they would do so. Did I hear a voice? They wouldn't tie hands and feet to the pole like you might imagine. They would have the body upright, and the pole would pass along their arms, often through the sleeves of their garment, so they were carried upright with their arms outstretched in front of them. So I better be chuffing careful here. I just walked into a machine gun there. And sure, nobody's manning that at the moment. Oops, actually hurt myself by doing that. That was clever. Hurt myself quite badly. Let's stop trying to do this. I don't have any reason to do it anyway. Light on. Alright, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to go up the main tower. Yes, please. That's preferable to what I've got. I'll have that. Oh, it occurs to me my pistol possibly had a light on it. Oh, no it did not. So anyway, these priests would carry these bodies along like that. And if anyone was travelling along and saw them in the distance, they would see the body suspended in the middle, apparently bouncing along between these two priests. And so if you see a Chinese vampire film, the vampires move with arms outstretched, bouncing along. Ooh. So, anyway, in this... Oh, this is going to be difficult. Yep, having that. Oh my. See, before we get carried away, that is not rounds for my gun. And my gun, 15 and 1, I'm probably better off switching. Yep. So anyway, in this film, Getting Home, it's a nice film. This chap takes his friend's body home, but he has one particular disadvantage in doing so. He doesn't really have any money, so he sets off on foot and on a bus. It's quite amusing. He props his friend up in the seat next to him and takes a bus ride. And it's only through sheer bad luck, ArmA 6, that they get held up by bandits. And the other people on the bus find out that the guy's dead because of it. Anyway, what was very useful to me, was that where he travels through China, he's heading from, I think, is it northwest China down to southeast. He's basically traversing the whole of China. He stops regularly, because he has to, and whenever he stops, he will say a prayer, and he will generally, try getting locals to help him, and try getting locals to help him say the prayer. And finally, through this, I could hear people saying these prayers in different Chinese accents. That was an absolute revelation, I tell you. Right, these do fit that. These don't, right. These do. Super, right. This away. Chernarus again. For the ArmA, I could do with some for the pistol. I really don't have that many rounds for this, and it's got a heck of a scope on it, so I really don't want to be firing it. What I am disappointed by here is lack of vehicles. Put this on the ground. Will this fit like that? Oh, it will. Cool. Cool. Is there anything else of any use right here? Yeah, it's absolutely fascinating to hear the same prayer being said in multiple places, and finally I could hear what makes up different regional Chinese accents, so I could start listening for it more in the future. It might just be, I'm certainly not an expert in this. God, I've got a long way to go, don't I? proceeding directly? I think so. And this is one of the reasons why I'm so interested in accents. If you're able to get a hold of that film going home, I highly recommend it. It's very funny. And it's not played for laughs, it's not slapstick or low humour, it's situational humour. As I say, he's travelling on a bus with his friend's dead body. No one else knows, they just think he's asleep. It's only when some bandits stop the bus and attempt to rob everyone that people find out, because the bandits gesture to his friends saying, "Hey, what about his money?" They say, "Oh, no, I can't possibly give you his money." Why? It's like, well, I have no permission to do so. And I don't think he'd want it anyway. It's like, oh, I think he can tell me himself, let me find out. And it's more than just that. One of the bandits reveals why he's a bandit. It's just beautiful. That's what I like in Chinese films. Films like that, I learn something. And I learned something whilst being entertained. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, I learned nothing. Oh, I should also stress that, of course, these days, in many Chinese films, due to the advance of special effects, many of the characters, many of the actors these days don't really have martial arts skills anymore. It's quite sad. Producers are well aware that they should put a Korean in the film so that they can more easily play the film in Korean markets. Likewise, someone from a boy band always helps sell things. So, yeah, many times people don't get picked for their martial arts prowess. So yeah, unfortunately, in the old days, if you saw a kung fu film, you could be pretty sure that the people in it really could do that. These days, not so much. I kind of miss the old martial arts films, mostly because of the women. I was amazed back then to see. I wasn't impressed by the sort of male warrior types or stuff. It was the women. Because usually the women are wearing normal traditional clothing, and yet their martial arts were incredible. Whereas, the hero guy or whatever, he's wearing loose-fitting clothes that are, designed to help him perform martial arts. Whereas the women were not. And they were tough and they were feisty, and China may have been more sexist back then. But these women really weren't taking any rubbish off anyone. I really enjoyed that. And you don't get that anymore. Or at least not very often. We bang on these days about the importance of strong female characters. But a strong female character is not somebody who is ostensibly just as violent as the male characters. That's not what makes a strong woman. it amuses me, even in Western films. We look back at, say, the 70s and the 80s and we say, oh, you know, films were sexist with this strong male hero who was there to rescue the weak woman. It's like, alright. And she was always dressed in sort of sexually provocative clothing, and the hero was sort of rewarded for his efforts through sex with these women. It's like, well, I'm so glad we've resolved all that and we no longer make those dreadful sexist old films. These days the woman looks exactly the same as she used to, but she gets through some of the violence too, in a very unbelievable manner, because clearly she doesn't have any strength or muscle tone whatsoever. She still wears the sexually provocative clothing, but I'm told that that's now female empowerment. Okay. Whatever. We're still making the same dreadful old sexist action films that we were back then. We just pretend that we're doing it for different reasons, and just because we let the actress punch a couple of people doesn't suddenly make her a strong female character. The strength of anyone comes from their character, not from their raw skill or their ability to do violence. You know, I'm some dreadful old dinosaur. I don't think Uma Thurman cutting up people with swords is empowering.
Walker, grid 0,
Or a
7,
sign of her
0, 6,
great
9.
female strength. But, you know, that's the film industry.
Walker, grid 0, 7, 0,
Oh, heck.
7, 0.
Idiot! Wasn't paying attention, let that happen. Damage. The film industry keeps making the films it wants to make because it knows they're successful. It knows there's an audience for it. It knows there's money that can be made from it. It will take on the styles or the modes of whatever's going on at the time to adapt these slightly, but ultimately it's just making the same stuff. I tell you, a stupid film thing that greatly amuses me. Because, you know, I've got 5 kilometres of walking. I'm adopted, or at least I was. Yeah. My parents adopted me. They did not give birth to me. Actually, they say they did not give birth to me. Well, I guess my mother didn't give birth to me. I could say a mother gave birth to me. The language around this kind of stuff is wretched. Adopted people will often talk about their biological parents or their real parents versus their adoptive parents.
Man, grid 0733073.
I don't like any of that. As far as I'm concerned, my parents are my parents. Good lord. I just let him walk up on me. And he's not alone. So I've got the spare ammo to be able to just blaze away like that, so I'm gonna.
Walker, 072074. Walker, 072074. Walker, grid 072074.
Yeah, we good? Quickly, to see if anything of any use.
Walker, grid
Oh, there.
072074. Walker, grid 072074.
Oh, that flare. Thank you.
Walker, grid 072074.
Saw another light over there. Either I missed my guy earlier or there's another one.
Man, grid 074073.
Ah, nuts, I'm gonna have to fire.
Walker, 072074. Changing mags!
Oh my goodness.
Walker, grid 073073.
Anyway, I don't normally tell people that I'm adopted. Wow. Shooting from all the way over there. Not because I find it weird or strange or I'm ashamed or embarrassed or anything at all. When it comes to how I feel about adoption, I don't feel anything. I don't think there's anything to feel. As far as I'm concerned, my parents are my parents, and you know, that's that. Cheap it and zoom out. Oh, I thought my cursor changed for a second there. See how easy it is to. I can't believe I got him by that sort of strafing shooting. Oh, there's no way I'm going to find this. No. Oh, there's no point in bothering. Going over there to find that guy either. See how many rounds I had to burn through. Anyway, adoption doesn't bother me in the slightest. As far as I was concerned, I was born to some people who, for whatever reason, felt that they were unable to look after me. I reckoned that the most sensible option was to put me up for adoption. Accordingly, I ended up in a family who were unable to have children of their own, or chose to adopt. I don't know. I've never actually asked my parents why they adopted. I don't care, and in many ways I think it's none of my business. Just because I'm the object of that adoption doesn't mean that I have any particular right to ask my parents these deeply personal things. And I don't care. So I never thought to question it or do anything about it. As far as I'm concerned, I know that I'm adopted, but it changes absolutely nothing about my life. It has not in any way altered anything. So, that's worked out just fine. However, yeah, you knew there was a but coming. I generally don't like other adopted people. Not all of them. I'm sure some of them are delightful. But some years ago, I thought to go and trace the people who gave birth to me. Original parents, real, whatever. I don't regard those people as my parents in any way. But one of the terrible things about adoption is that when you give up a child for adoption, you are giving up everything at that point. You will never be told anything about that child again. You will never have contact with them ever again. There are things like here in the UK, there's the birth link register. If you wish to get in touch with the children you put up for adoption, you can leave your details and a message with the birth link register, and if that child ever thinks to consult that themselves, they will be passed that information. It's actually a bit more restrictive than that, because people are going to be sensible. So yeah, there are ways, but if your child never hears about the birth link register and never thinks to consult it, then hey, you never hear from them ever again. And trying to trace your original parents is just a mess. It's not easy to do. When I was adopted back in the 70s, adoption was not carried out by social services or government agency. It was all carried out by voluntary agencies or charities. In fact, a lot of adoption still is these days. But it was all voluntary groups back then. Some of these groups kept good records and some didn't. Now, I thought at one point that it may be concomitant upon me to get in touch with at least the mother who gave birth to me. See, it's terrible to even say words like mother or whatever. Oh no, the street cleaner's going by outside. I apologise if there's some background noise. Oh yeah, I can hear it through the headphones. Oh, hate this. So I'm going to turn off the mic a second. Right, sorry about that. He'll be back at least another twice as well. But yeah, I thought, although I'm totally cool with adoption, I'm absolutely fine with it, that maybe I, owed something to my birth mother, if that's the term I'm going to use. Because I figure giving up a child is not an easy thing to do. And, there's probably one day a year because you remember the day on which she gave birth. There's probably one day a year which you might just think, oh, I wonder what happened. And, you know, once you've given up a child for adoption, if that child then dies, you don't get told. You know, you could spend your whole life wondering what happened to your child, you know. You hope they had a good life, but in actual fact, they died within 6 months of you giving them up. You'll never know. So I thought, well, not everyone can be as casual about these things as people on Earth, is there? Is that that? It probably is. Yeah. So I thought, well, get in touch. Damn, I'm alive and I'm basically a reasonable chap. And things worked out. And hey, I'm cool with the decision that they made. Because, of course, when you set out to do these things, there's an awful lot of things that you do not know. As I mentioned, if the child dies, you don't know about it. Well, if the parents die, the child doesn't get told about it either. No one keeps track. So, you could be trying to find someone who's no longer alive. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm not going in there. And, you know, you think of your birth parents. Well, was there a father around? You don't know. Are they still together? Well, sadly, these days that's probably not quite so likely. So, yeah, there's all that to consider. Plus, all that you're going to get at the end of the process is the details of your parents at the time of your birth. You think they're still living in the same house? Of course they're not. You know, how do you find somebody who moved from an address 40 years ago? So yeah, it's tricky. But one of the horrific things about trying to do this trace is that adoption counselling is compulsory. Actually, it's compulsory in England and Wales. It's not compulsory in Scotland, but in Scotland they'll try and make you do it anyway. And when I approached the social services to request the records that they held about me at my adoption, they tried to put me into adoption counselling. Now, ultimately, I'm a very private person. I'm quite a weird person as well, of course, and I do not want to offer myself up for analysis or counselling. I've never liked such things, and they're not for me. That's not to say that I don't believe these things help people. There are plenty of people that these things do help, but they're not for me. And when it comes to my adoption, as far as I'm concerned, that is something that is entirely personal to me, and no one else can tell me what to think or feel about this. So I'm not really interested in going through anything about that, and I would be ridiculously aggressive towards anyone who tried to force me, simply because I believe that it's such a personal thing that I am out with the bounds of etiquette or manners or even common social decency in dealing with it. It is such a personal thing to me that it is absolutely no one else's business whatsoever. And by someone attempting to engage me on this, I consider that so far out of bounds, so rude of them to presume to interfere with that. That I am no longer bound by any strictures of social convention
Grid 082,
or social conscience
092.
that I would otherwise ordinarily be. So I can be as absolutely rude and foul to them as I wish. Eyes over the ridge line. Or is he? Or he's only got a pistol. Let's continue. Oh, I can hear that street cleaner coming back. Now, you know, in encountering adoption counselling classes, well, adoption counselling groups or whatever they call them, yeah, that was a thing. And that's my bugbear with adoption, my bugbear with quite a few adopted people, and with films. And here comes the street cleaner again, so I'm going to have to mute my microphone for a bit. Right, he's going to be back another twice, I'm sure. But what I found in adoption counselling groups was a whole bunch of people sitting around feeling sorry for themselves, blaming everything bad in their life on the fact that they were adopted. And nope, 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 nope. Can't stand that. You know, life is not fair. You're dealt the hand that you're dealt. It may be good, it may be bad, it may be just fine. You have no control over this, and no one owes you anything because of this, and it gives you no excuse or reason for anything. You make you who you are. And if you want to sort of claim that you are held back or disadvantaged or victimized by something that has happened in your past, then what on earth do you think life is? You know, if you allow adoption to be your excuse for anything, no. I have no respect for people like that. You are who you are. You make yourself who you are. And yeah, many of these people, you know, they're in their 40s and they have problems or things haven't worked out in their life. They'll say, oh, you know, I wonder if it was because I was adopted. No. Now, I could say, yes, for some people, to find out later on in life that you were adopted, rather than know from the start like I did, perhaps that might come as quite a surprise. That may have quite a psychological impact. But, yeah, I've heard other adopted people say that, they wanted to trace their original parents to find out what happened. Was it because they didn't love them? No. Was it, you know, I've always been scared of rejection my whole life because I was unwanted as a child. Yeah. You really need excuses like that, do you? No, you know, I've done some bad things in my life. I've had some unfortunate things happen to me. None of it's because I was adopted. You know, I've done bad things because I've made bad choices. I've made poor decisions. It's nothing to do with my adoption. And I really didn't see how sitting around with a bunch of people like that was of any benefit or value to me, because I was already fine about it. What did I have to gain? Nothing. I had a social worker try to tell me that, oh, you know, it's good for your conscience. What? And they asked me if I had told my adoptive parents that I was doing this. I said, no, of course I didn't. I said, oh, why not? I said, well, because I think they may potentially find it hurtful that I've done this. And I really don't think it's any of their business anyway. Say, oh, do you not think you'll hurt them more by not telling them? Say, no, because I actually won't tell them. Idiot. Anyway. But my point is that, have you ever seen a film where there's an adopted person in it? Or, you know, play, or a drama on the radio, or, you know, anything. Any kind of fiction where there's an adopted person. They're never fine about it, are they? I mean, it doesn't come up as a plot element all that often, but it does come up. And, you know, when you're adopted, you tend to notice, because it always affects them negatively. It's a very long-running soap opera on British radio called The Archers. And The Archers is mainly based around country life. But one of the characters in it, he was a bit of a ruthless businessman. And he discovered in the course of the series that he was adopted. So, you know, guess where his ruthless streak came from? Yeah. It's always that. Because there is this thing in writing, this device known as Chekhov's gun. And it doesn't mean Chekhov from Star Trek. It means Chekhov, the Russian writer. The guy who wrote Uncle Vanya and the Cherry Orchard, stuff like that. Chekhov's gun. It simply states that if, in the course of your writing, you make a point of describing a gun that hangs on the wall, then that had better be part of the plot. So, if you have a character in a film who is adopted, they're never just going to be adopted and that's it. That they're fine with it and it doesn't figure in the plot. Of course, it's going to figure into the plot. Actually, it's one of the things that I kind of commend Family Guy for. Well, I like Family Guy, I think it's funny. But I like that the character of Joe is disabled. And he's not disabled for plot reasons. He just happens to be disabled. And they often make fun of him for it. They often sort of joke at his expense because of it. And there may even be storylines or plot points that relate to it, but a lot of the time there isn't. I like that. Because just once it probably be nice to see someone in fiction who was adopted and are fine. But Chekhov's gun. Why mention it if you're not going to do anything with it? That's the thing. You know, we're all used to this technique in films. When you see a character at the start of a film practicing card tricks, say, and later on they're in some situation where, oh, some kind of magic-based distraction might come to mind. Oh, card trick guy. Yeah. Chekhov's gun. That's why you do it. So yeah, you know, I'm well used to the idea that you can't have a character in a film be adopted without it being a plot element, and realistically, what can you do with an adopted character? Well, either it's messed them up in some way, or it hasn't, and if it hasn't, Chekhov's gun. You know. Aha, finally I'm starting to see something. And so yeah, that annoys me about films. However, it annoys me about adopted people even more. I can't stand the self-pitying kind.
Walker, grid 0, 9er, 2, 1, 1, 0.
I have to say, when I was growing up, one of the kids who lived up the road from me, a girl, she found out slightly later on that she was adopted. She decided to do something about it.
Rifleman, grid 0, 9er, 3, 1, 1, 2.
She went off to trace her original parents. So I'm going to use these terms just for ease of use, whereas I never would use them in real life. But yeah, she decided to go and find them. And she found them. Surprisingly easily. And ultimately she decided she liked them better and asked them if she could move in with them. Yikes. And so she did. Now obviously I knew her, I knew her family, and her family were devastated by this. Oh frick. Good lord, I didn't think you'd see me all the way over there. Roll, roll, roll. Get behind a tree. Ah, nuts. Right, safe. Or was it him shooting?
Man, grid 0, 9er, 3, 1, 1, 1.
Oh, I'd get down if I was you. Yeah, so, anyway, having told you about... Oh, my giddy aunt.
Man, grid 0, 9er, 3, 1, 1,
Oh,
1.
chuff. wow. How easily I lost him. Not interested in your shotgun. Or any of your stuff at all, actually. Oh no, here comes Street Cleaner again. Go quiet for a minute.
Rifleman, grid 0, 9er, 2, 1, 1, 1. Rifleman, grid 0, 9er, 1, 1, 1, 1.
And so off goes the Street Cleaner again, and it'll be back. Now, there was one day I was listening to the radio. I listen to the radio often. And they had on an adoption rights group, I guess. And they were having a good old whine about how in films and radio dramas that they were complaining about the Archers and the character on the Archers. They were having a good old whine about that. Not to say, I don't like the fact that adopted characters are always adoption is always a personality flaw. In fiction and drama. I don't like it either. Having a good old whine about that. But the thing is, I don't let it bother me. Because, let's say, Chekhov's gun. Well, the corollary to Chekhov's gun is that often a character may possess a trait or have a certain background that never gets mentioned, and so you never know about it. So it's entirely possible that in plenty of films and TV shows, dramas, etc., there are adopted characters who are absolutely fine with it, but it never comes up, so they never mention it. Now, I never phone radio shows. Who on earth phones a radio station? I mean, really? I'll say that as somebody who presents a show. I never ask anyone to phone it. You know, if somebody wants to get into contact with the show, then do so. If they want to come in and talk about something, well, hey, I may even let them. But I'm not going to talk on the blasted phone to them. Ugh. But I phoned in on this occasion to make this very point to this adoption rights group. Say, it's entirely possible that there are many characters in many films who are adopted and they're fine about it, but you just don't know. Because they're not going around talking about it. I mean, I don't go around saying to people, hey, I'm adopted, and I'm absolutely fine about it. How would that even come up?
Walker, grid 0, 9er, 7, 1, 1, 3.
So I even went further and suggested to them, hey, let's imagine that certain characters from certain films are adopted. I said, oh, Superman, he was actually adopted. Things worked out pretty well for him. Hey, James Bond, I've decided that James Bond's adopted. They never mention his parents, so there you go, he's adopted. This did not please them. They would rather have their grievance.
6, 1, 1, 4. Walker, grid 0, 9er, 6, 1, 1, 4.
See, this is why I'm not terribly keen on adopted
Walker,
people.
Grid 0, 9er, 6, 1, 1, 4.
Because a lot of them use it as an excuse. Or, you know.
Walker, grid 0, 9er, 6, 1, 1, 4. Walker, grid 0, 9er, 6, 1, 1, 4. Man, grid 0, 9er, 5, 1, 1, 4. Walker.
Yeah, alright, shut up. We know you've spotted some zombies.
Walker, grid 0, 9er, 6, 1, 1, 4.
Oh my
Walker,
goodness
grid 0,
me,
9er,
shut up.
7, 1, 1, 4.
One. Oh, thank goodness. Right, somebody's shooting in there. We are here looking for a fuel truck. Right, that could be a working vehicle. Just shuffling a fuel truck though. Well, that could be one, but it looks more like a decoration than an actual one. Now, I really don't want to shoot anyone around here. That VSS Ventures that I've got is very quiet. It would be quite the thing if I were sitting back and just sniping a bunch of people. Oh, I feel thirsty. How novel. And now I don't feel thirsty. Hang on a bit until she says I'm hungry, or I eat something. I'm slightly concerned that's probably the only thing I've got to drink. Yeah, it is. Right, surely the fuel truck is not going to be something that's just sitting around outside. Oh, he looks that fast one, doesn't he? But maybe double bluff, it is the thing that's sitting out. Pretty sure it's not going to be that. I think that's just decoration. Not even searchable. But, gotta go and check it. Should take that blasted spot off the map. So I could zoom in and mark exactly where it says fuel truck is, but I think that's just the centre of this red circle.
Walker, grid 0, 9er, 6, 1, 1, 4.
a zombie has seen me. A couple of zombies have seen me. Let's get back to that tower. Because I'm going to shoot zombies, I'm going to be happier shooting zombies that are lined up. I'm just asking for it. Oh, they are coming. Believe me, I did not want to do that. Because I do not want to have to shoot every zombie in town. Uh-oh. Oh, luckily I think that's the side of a shotgun. And if we're lucky, see, there's a red spot wandering around with nothing attached to it. It's just an estimate. I think it might be the sound of a guy who used to have a shotgun. I can't tell you, there's more fun to be had with being
Walker,
adopted.
grid 0, 9er, 5, 1, 1, 4.
It's generally a bit of a shit thing to tell people, because the first thing that anyone will generally say to me, if I mention the fact, is, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Walker, grid 0, 9er, 5.
Oh, good lord, he
1,
attracted
4.
a lot of
Walker,
zombies.
grid 0, 9er, 4, 1, 1, 4. Walker, grid
Right,
0,
we may have to
9er,
do this
4,
at speed.
1, 1, 4.
Curse me, I have not opened all these gates. Oh. But yeah, you know, you say, "Oh, I'm adopted," and people say, "Oh, I'm sorry." Why? I'm not. It's fine. But you know, they're just trying to be kind. They're just trying to say something nice or supportive. You know, very good of them, I suppose. But where it's really fun is when people have children, because you know, if I tell people adopted, they'll usually ask about it. "Oh, hey, you know, you cool with it? Blah, blah, blah. What about your original parent? Blah, 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 blah." I'll say, "Yeah, it's fine, I'm cool with it. Don't worry about it." "Yeah, alright, oh yeah." I say, I view adopted people as just the same as anyone else. Just because one thing has been slightly different in their life, it doesn't really change anything. And they'll say, "Oh yeah, yeah, of course, I absolutely agree." Then you wait until they have
Walker,
children.
grid 0, 9er, 5, 1, 1, 4. Walker, grid 0, 9er, 5, 1, 1, 4.
Because when they have kids, it's like, "Hey." You can say to them, "Hey, you know, the kids who get adopted are the lucky ones. the kids who don't get adopted and end up growing up in government-run care homes, they don't tend to have such positive outcomes in life. You know, things don't go great for them. People say, oh yes, of course, absolutely, yeah. But then they go and have kids of their own. You say, hey, you said that adopted kids are just the same as normal kids, or just as good as anyone else. What's so wonderful about your DNA that you had to have your own kids? Especially funny if they have fertility treatment. Then they're really find it awkward. Well, yeah,
Walker, grid 0, 9er, 6, 1, 1,
because
4.
ultimately parents would prefer to have their own children. At least so it seems to me.
Walker, grid 0, 9er, 6, 1, 1, 4.
What if they'll go for smoke? There's some smoke. Do you like that, zombies? Yes, they do. Blimey. That guy almost got to me. I think that rattling is a zombie thing.
Walker, grid 0, 9er,
Let's chuck
6,
a flare.
1, 1, 4.
Now, I'm concerned that I have no idea where this fuel truck is still. Oh, that's a fast one. This sucks. Well. Oh, I could rappel down. Yeah, I'm not sure I've got enough bullets to shoot all the zombies that I could. Flare out that way. Yeah, you guys go after that. I've got after 2 actual grenades. Nope. Don't you friggin' dare. God, there's a nice flare burning over there. Go and have a look at that. There you go. I'm going to keep the... It's quiet, but it's not silent. No. Why can't you be interested in the flare? No one likes you. Zombies seem to come from over this direction. Oh, they've walked out of a wall. There's not doors I can open. I don't see any ladder I can climb. Oh, frig. Oh, you little creep. Take the sights off this. Oh my. Yeah, I've come all this way. I don't want to blow it now. Oh, I do not like being in these bushes. Move fast. I suspect somebody's right on my backside. Yeah. Oh, here's a car park. Is there a fuel truck here? Well, I can see some of these vehicles look like they might be drivable.
Walker, grid 096114.
Whoa. Took a bad hit. That's a fuel truck. Better have the keys in it. It does! Good night, everybody. Headlights aren't functional. Yes, they are. Yeah. Right, order of the day. Get the heck away. God, it's a bit noisy, isn't it? Being followed? No, we ain't. So have a look at the oldie map. Let's ignore all those purple dots. Where should we be going? Let's go straight across. To a road. Hey, this thing's not terrible off-road. Oh, chuff, that's not a zombie. It's you from earlier. Oh, quick. Treat myself. Well, I'm done with that. Swap guns. I've not come all this way. I'm sure they didn't kill him. stuff it. Drive on. If he wants to pop up again, he will. I may have got him. Right. Well, nothing left to do except get this down to the helicopter, kill everyone that's around there. Not forgetting that, of course. And see if we can fly out of here. Sorry, Mr. Zombie. Let's see what's the deal with this road. Keep going, keep going, keep going. What's that noise? See, those noises are just as annoying. Friggin' insects. How far is it to where I'm going? 10k. But 10k at speed. Alright. I'm feeling pretty chuffed actually. Oh, I did take a hit. Yeah, no, mostly guard, I'm not infected. Splendid. Go on, you get going. Well, I have to say, this perhaps hasn't made for the most exciting video. Gosh, I'm always saying that. I think if you're playing this with a group of friends, that would be rather exciting indeed. I will have to make that happen. Oh, you may wonder why I don't record more multiplayer videos. It's simply because, well, a couple of reasons really. I don't want to have to ask my friends if they consent to being filmed, or consent to having their gameplay and their voices recorded. That's kind of a weird thing. It's an odd thing to have to ask someone, and you find they become rather conscious of it. So either, you know, I mean, it will alter their behaviour either way, Either they will sort of clam up and not be their normal vivacious, gregarious selves, or they might start playing up for the cameras, as it were. Neither's good. You know, some of them may just be cool about it and completely forget that it's being recorded. What if I record a lengthy video with them, and then one of them turns around and says, "Actually, you know, I said I was cool with it. Actually, I'm not, after all." Well, that's that video in the bin as well. You know. Also, when I'm playing with my friends, we're not performing for an audience. You know, if we're sort of joking and mucking around, those are jokes that we are happy telling in each other's company. They might not be suitable things for, you know, including in a YouTube video. I saw a person over on the left, not the near one, the guy up right there. I'm not stopping for anything. So, yeah. I mean, one of the most enduring jokes amongst my closest group of gaming friends is your mum. It's not your mama joke. Well, they're not your mama jokes in the traditional sense. So I'm best off just skirting towns. This is like the obstructions and problems within them, so yeah. But it is taking everything that anyone says, no matter how innocuous, and sticking your mum on it. It's just, oh, we have to use these explosives to blow up the bridge. It's like, your mum blows up bridges. You see, it's not particularly funny in and of itself. It's just the endless repetition of it. You know, done hundreds of times, and eventually it's sort of lack of funniness becomes funny, or you accidentally hit upon things that genuinely are funny. That's pretty tiresome in a video, but it's pretty funny among my friends. Or how much of the nonsense at the start of a game do we include? Because there's a whole bunch of people going, "Oh wait, I don't think my microphone's doing things properly. Wait, oh, you're awfully loud, but you're awfully quiet." You know, to which I, you know, whenever anyone says, "Can you hear me?" Yes, Clem Fandango, I can hear you. And again, if you don't know that, you know, so no, I don't generally record multiplayer ones. I have once or twice. It's been fine. We somehow managed to do it with not much swearing, without many problems in it. You know, it's been okay. But generally I have to go and edit them, and you know. So I'm quite happy to appear in other people's multiplayer videos, because, you know, I understand what's involved, I know how much of a faff it can be, so I'll behave. I'll do whatever they need. But yeah, I don't tend to do my own multiplayer videos, sadly. Sorry. and they're, you know, my closest friends don't tend to play ArmA, or if they do, they don't play it often. So, how much of your video do you want me to spend telling what the controls are? Which one is it to stand up again? You know. You think you'd be okay with that, but after an hour of that, God, this thing's terrible uphill, isn't it? All ArmA vehicles will make it up all hills eventually, though. Gotta be grateful for the fact that no one's shooting at me. Gotta be very careful not to crash this, not to bash it off anything. Imagine if I just ding up a wheel. That's the end of this. At the same time, I do want to drive at full speed everywhere. Oops. Even just a sudden rock underneath some of this pump. I just had a horrible thought there. This is a fuel truck, isn't it? Yes, yes it is. This is kind of going the wrong way. Yeah, this is definitely going the wrong way. We're going off-road. Tum-ta-tum-ta-tum. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, this head's too close to Chernarus, so I'll have to turn off long before we get there, but we're about halfway back. Oh, I'm feeling strangely confident. Also now acutely aware that I've been talking in quite a quiet voice for a long time, and now I'm feeling a bit chirpy and chipper, and so the volume of my voice is going up. For some pure editing. So I have no idea how long this video is. It's pretty long, I imagine. Just what YouTube wants. Uh-oh. It's been too late. I'm cutting across. Every ArmA vehicle will make it up every ArmA hill. As long as you go in a straight line. See? We're fine. it's even accelerating. So I'm thinking of making a new keyboard. I'm thinking of making a new video to go with it. As I say, among keyboard guys, it's cool to have small keyboards, 60% sized ones, which means ones that do not have a numeric keypad, don't have function keys, and don't have the cursor keys, page up, page down, all that kind of thing. God, the way he was just standing there, I thought he was a player for a second. Player, you know, a bandit rather than a zombie. But it's actually quite annoying trying to play ArmA on anything less than a full-size keyboard. Plus I do use numeric keypads, you know, for work and other things. And I like the page up, page down keys and stuff like that. Use them for reading web pages. I've got a couple of 60% keyboards. They're fine. But I actually mostly use them for travelling or when I've got to go into the office. Instead of typing on some dreadful £2 Dell piece of rubbish. So, if I'm going to make a new keyboard, what's it going to be? Am I best off going for 100% full keyboard, 104, 105 keys? Or should I go maybe 80% and then build a separate numeric keypad? Because I can't stand that, you know, keyboard design is basically terrible. Most people rarely use the caps lock key, so why is it in such an easily accessible position? I've seen on some custom keyboard layouts swapping caps lock and control. Oh, chaff. I'm not stopping for anyone or anything. Numeric keypads are modelled after adding machines. Back in the olden days, we had mechanical adding machines. And the thing about them was, oh heck, no, it's a zombie. It's only people I'm bothered by. Yeah, when we had mechanical adding machines, you operate them with your left hand, because it left your right hand free to write with. As in, you added up columns of figures on the adding machine and then wrote down your notes and your detail as you went. These things, they didn't have memories and stuff. Got another person who wants to shoot at me. Rude. Okay, actually, no, I need to move on a bit further still. Now that we're getting close, I'm thinking, where do we want to emerge with this? Shut up with that noisy engine. I think we're going to cut across here. We want as direct a route as possible to the heli, really. Oh, that looks familiar. So yeah, I'm currently toying with the idea of what keyboard to make. It makes a lot more sense to have the numeric keypad on the left side. That's what it originally was for. It was an adding machine, you worked with your left hand. So it should be on the left. Oh heck, this is getting a bit exciting. No, don't stop, don't stop. The other great advantage of having the numeric keypad on the left is that your mouse is closest to the keyboard. If you sit and look at how your keyboard is positioned versus how your mouse is positioned, you want both to be fairly central. But either you offset your keyboard to the left or you offset your mouse to the right, and it doesn't quite sit right. They can sit much closer if you have your numeric keypad off to the left. Uh-oh, person. Do stop shooting at me, I don't want to stop to murder you. Seriously dude, I've had enough. Go away. But if I'm going to build a separate numeric keypad, then would I actually not be better off building a slightly bigger pad with some programmable keys? And see how that all goes. Then what kind of key switch do I want to use? Uh-oh. He actually hit me. How badly? Not badly. He is beginning to really annoy me now. Wish I had stopped to murder him. I'd currently be going through his wallet finding pictures of his children that I could sell online. There's a lot goes into picking up a keyboard. And, what kind of switches do I want to use? What broad type? Am I going for something quiet? Do I want something clicky? Something tactile, linear? I've got a whole bunch of clicky ones lying around, and I've never actually used a clicky keyboard in modern times. Maybe I'm going for silence, and the last keyboard I made used silent red key switches. And I use genuine cherry ones. Maybe I'm better off with Gatorons or something from Novel Keys or Kailich or goodness knows. I have a box with almost 200 different types of key switch in it. There are that many. And even once I've done that, well, what kind of colours do I want to put things in? What shape of keys do I want? Do I want standard cherry keys or cherry compatibles but in an OEM profile? Or do I want SAs? Or DSAs? I was quite fancy trying DSAs. Well, I have tens of thousands of keycaps. Tens of thousands. And that's all before I even get to the colour. How strong do I want the springs? Do I think I'll need to actually open the key switches myself and lubricate them all? Should I apply switch stickers? Oh, it is endless. Right. Now, do I want to run down into town, try and attract zombies and things away? It's a thought. So if I continue down to it, there, and make a break, zoom in, zoom out, we'll see. What colour of case do I want for my keyboard? Do I want the switches to be plate mounted or circuit board mounted or that was a shot. It is directed at me. Ah, we are so close now. Oh my. My engine is taking a hit, my fuel tank is taking a hit. Yeah, we are no longer in pristine condition. Don't know how much of that is bullets and how much of that me sort of bumping into things. Right. We're cutting over here. This is the diciest bit of all, really. Zombie. Yeah, I'm going to try and lure zombies out of town or run them over as much as possible. So, you know what? No one's shooting at me and this road is fairly clear. Well, there aren't that many zombies. Hurrah. Come on, fast boys. I've spent too much time doing this. One more run. Oh, no, 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 no. Took damage to a wheel there. Cannot have that. We're going to the heli. Go away, zombies. Actually, zombies don't like helicopter blades, do they? See? Zombies don't like helicopter blades. How hurt am I? Hurt enough that I'm going to heal. They generally will not walk underneath helicopter blades. Get this pilot. Splosh, splosh, splosh. Power up. Bye. This seems to be going through fuel very quickly. We got a fuel leak. That's funny, it seems to have stabilised now. Oh, the game might not like the fact that I've left behind my comrades. You know what? I don't care. Crikey, we're going quickly. Delete that little thing. Yay! I count that a victory. Even if the game doesn't actually want to let me quit. Can I go back and pick them up? Suspicious about the insane amount of fuel that we seem to have used somehow. That's weird, isn't it? Oh, I can't pick up the others. I'm not in command. Well, we're just going to call this a successful mission. This has been Escape Chernarus Ravage by Fraja or Freya. I'm thinking it gives me the impression of being German. Might be wrong about that. which case I think it's probably Freya. And yes, it's very interesting. It's not the same as the old Escape Chernarus mission from ArmA 2 by any means. But it's perfectly interesting. I think it'd be a lot of fun to play with friends. Just me, that engine's annoying, isn't it? Hey! Ah, that does make a difference. Wow, what fun. So yeah, quite an interesting mission to play on your own, but especially interesting to play with friends, I'll be bound. So that is going to be it for me for today, and we're going to have another one next time, and at some point I'm going to be doing Crush's Escape from Chernarus, which I have already had a go of. I haven't done a video of it, so that's going to be confusing. Anyway, until next time, ta-ra!